what's the very first chair ever made?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the first chair that humans sat in? And I like to think it's a boulder. So it's either a boulder or a log, right?
Or the Eames lounge chair.
No, definitely not the Eames chair. I'm talking about like when
It came out of the
cavemen.
primordial ooze.
Oh man. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Hey,
Got another sake can.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this reminds me of our first episodes. You remember
when we were lit?
we would just split a bottle of wine
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
in my bedroom?
There's nothing seductive about that. No, I mean, I mean, those were fun times. And
it's just really fun to like look back at those YouTube videos and
we
see
look
us
like
just-
children.
Yeah.
We look like children who shouldn't be like legally able to drink.
We shouldn't legally be able to have a podcast. Also, we shouldn't have a podcast right now either. Podcasts are done, you know.
Yeah. Usually New York City would cue a siren about that time, but unfortunately there is none. But hey man, how's it going? How you
Good.
been?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming up to the city again, you know.
Yeah.
It's a trek for you, but it's a nice gesture.
Yeah, it's a rainy day. I almost didn't make it. I didn't tell you this on my way up.
We didn't make it last week. We were supposed to record this last week.
We were supposed to record this last week, and then my entire family got sick.
Damn.
And no, it was 2 weeks ago. Was that last week or
Yeah, I
2
think it
weeks
was last
ago?
week.
Oh
I remember
my-
2 weeks ago. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, that happened. But today I get on my train stop, so it's nice. Like where I am in just outside of Philadelphia, I can get on a train that goes to Philly and then direct on to New York. So like I don't have to transfer trains at all. But today I get on the train, and it's not moving, and it's not moving,
Okay.
and it's not moving.
It's delayed.
And the conductor comes on and says that there's been what was it? It's something like a bridge hit. Let me see.
Collision.
I texted it to my wife. Let's see. Bridge strike.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, are there workers on strike on the bridge? Or
Is it a drawbridge?
did something strike the bridge? And so I looked, I used ChatGPT
Okay.
and found out that a bridge strike means that something hit the bridge.
Got it.
And so like there's a part of the bridge that in this one town, you know, the train tracks go over the road. And so I assume, I didn't get to see it. I didn't see it when we went by, but I assume like a semi truck didn't know its own height and slammed into the
I
bridge.
see.
So I wasn't, for a minute there, I was like, this nobody wants us to record podcasts. The world is working against us to record podcasts.
Did it just work?
Yeah, I mean,
They took a different route?
it was fine. It was a little slow, but it was fine. You know, I got to catch up with Derek Cassio,
Okay.
who, you know, he worked on the brand
Yep,
for
for
Remcon, the rebrand for Remcon. And now he's working on the website. And so I was reviewing the new website with him, which is looking sweet.
Yeah,
So-
I feel like I see the Remcon reels every once in a while.
Yeah,
You
my
guys
sister's
are-
been hard at work
You guys are
on that.
posting that good manufacturing content.
Yeah, recently we got a big push. Hit doesn't sound good.
A viral video.
But because well, one of them went pretty well because my sister did sort of like a process of making a barricade.
Okay, that's cool.
That was a cool video. But then more recently, my sister's very into Legos. And so she found somebody that does Lego stuff, but specifically construction Legos. and she had Derek and his partner at Niche figure out how to like make a printable Lego compatible barricade.
Okay, so a tiny little Lego piece that looks like your
Yeah.
barricade. Or was it your design or the standard design?
It's the standard one.
Okay.
And so that guy posted they sent him Legos. He posted about it. He's got a ton of followers, and then they posted something recently of like, here's a Lego barricade and zoom out on top of the big barricade, and that got a lot of
That's
hits.
fun.
So yeah, I mean the Lego fam will always come through.
I mean, it's hard to beat a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
I
know they're so.
If you make
so
something
cute
tiny,
and
it's
adorable.
so cute.
I was watching this video recently about Lego and how I think this was back in like the early 2000s, and before just like 10 or 15 years ago, they completely ignored the adult Lego enthusiast market. Like Lego as a company was like, we are going to focus on kids.
Yep.
And then they realized the error of their ways and opened it up, and they do all these the architectural sets, the flower sets, the paintings, like and of course like all the Star Wars ones that are like hundreds of dollars and
thousands
of dollars
at this point. Yeah.
and now business is booming because they stopped ignoring that segment of the market. So anyway,
some of those sets are crazy.
that was my train ride this morning.
You made it out? Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You have the divider is new that you made?
The barricade?
Barricade.
Yes. So there is.
We talked about one.
Yes.
The T1000, whatever it's called. I don't think it's called that, but
the Type 3, the breakaway barricade.
Yes.
Yes. So that one came out like 2 years ago, and then there was interest in doing like there's common heights of barricades, and one of them is 42. And so
42 inches.
Yeah. And so we have a 42-inch one, but it's basically just you've probably seen them before in your life. It's called like a Jersey barricade. Why it's called that, I should know. But basically all it does is just like sort of nest together. There's no locking mechanism locking the barricades together. It's just they just sort of nest and deploy in straight lines. And so we wanted to do a new 42 based on the success of our Guard Safe 36 barricade. And so this one can pin together and articulate.
Oh. Okay.
And I mean the cool thing with this one was there were a couple of things. One of which was taking all the learnings that I had, the things that I had learned from the development of the Type 3. One of our plant engineers had really like illuminated a lot of design for manufacturing things when it comes to rotomolding that just they had never occurred to me. I was sort of transcribing some of the sort of injection molding rules for design for manufacturing, especially when it comes to like molds and draft and everything like that.
Well, what are the differences? Like, is there a specific example you have?
The biggest difference is that when you are molding something for in rotational molding, obviously you have large hollow-bodied forms, and that you fill a mold with powder, it goes into an oven where the plastic melts, and then it goes into a cooling chamber.
Okay.
And so, as opposed to like injection molding where it's just like
5 seconds. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not safe for work. And so when it's like as it's in the mold, it shrinks by, I think it's almost like 2.5% or something, which on a big part is like can be kind of significant.
Sure. I mean the pieces are what, 5 feet wide?
Yeah.
6 feet?
Yeah, 6 feet long.
And then 2% of that is
12.
I don't know.
6%. Wait, 2%
12.
of 6 and 72.
2 inches?
Something like that. And so the the thing is that in injection molding, because of how quickly things are being molded, you're accounting for just draw basically, but and not much shrink. But in rotomolding, you're accounting for shrink, and so it actually means that like on those outside edges, you can basically have no draft.
Right.
But on the inside edges, you actually have to have
A
like
lot.
more draft than you might think, unless it's a glossy part.
Okay.
If you have like, especially if you have a matte finish, which a lot of our barricades are a matte finish, you know, in injection molding, I think the rule is like 3 for gloss and 5 for matte, something like loosely that.
I always try to do half a degree of draft on my parts. You know? I always try to make the engineers mad.
Just use use the ejector pins. Yeah, so that's like those learnings from the Type 3 informed a lot of the language around the new barricade, because these things are, you know, right now the GuardSafe 36 that we produce a lot of. And so anything that we can do to make that faster process. And so I really like baked that into the design DNA. So anyway, that's a lot of James.
James updates. We love it.
What about you, Nick?
I don't have many updates, but you know, I've been kind of piecemealing all my projects out for the past 2 years. And, you know, we talked about the strap box. We talked about the camp lamp, I think. Hug mug. I think that's all. We talked about all 3 of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got one more. We got the rock chair. Should I get the rock chair down?
Get the rock chair. Let's rock and roll.
There you go, James. This is my little rock chair model. Yeah, I think it was just a fun project that I did last fall, with my friend Ben Ueda. Ben is a architect and designer, and he does a lot of DIY videos online.
Yeah. You just opened that hotel, right?
Yes. So he designed and built this hotel in 29 Palms, which is right near Joshua Tree National Park. And, you know, I had this idea for this rock chair. I don't know. It might have been a year ago now. I wanted to put this into this design exhibition for New York Design Week called Donald Judd. Donald Dudd, right? Donald Dudd. I always mix up the name because obviously it's a play on Donald Judd's name.
Yeah.
And so I had done like a sketch and then an AI render, and I had submitted it. And, you know, I didn't know if they were going to say yes or no. But then I was getting worried because I was like, how am I going to get, you know, 2 ton of rock, you know, move it across New York City and up into a high-rise building? And maybe, you know, for the better, I don't know, maybe they declined and I didn't have to actually perform that feat of engineering.
Yeah.
But I just love this idea because it's, you know, I think my concept with this is like, what's the very first chair ever made?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the first chair that humans sat in? And I like to think it's a boulder. So it's either a boulder or a log, right?
Or the Eames lounge chair.
No, definitely not the Eames chair. I'm talking about like when
it came out of the
cavemen.
primordial ooze.
Oh man.
What if it was like a T-Rex skull? Like
that would
like
be
a
sick.
Section of like a dinosaur skull, or like I guess maybe like a woolly mammoth skull. Like like the antler or something. Like, is that an armrest? Like you turn an antler upside down, you stick the points in the ground. That's your little armrest, and then the skull is your backrest.
You're making the rock chair look bad now.
Sorry.
No. So it, you know, it was just kind of this play on the idea of like the first chair, and then of course I decided why not add the strap to it to connect the 2 rocks. You have the backrest and the main seat. And I had posted online, and I think, you know, some people thought it was fun or whatever. And Ben is building a sculpture garden right outside of his resort that he's built. So he's already had a few sculptures out there. He's made this really cool moon pad and like fire pit and everything. And it's really amazing what he's done out there. He's done a lot of DIY projects. you know, because he studied as an architect, and so he was, you know, partnered up with a few other people and designed this hotel. But he's also designed some of the furniture inside the rooms, like, you know, the desk and like the fire pits.
Yeah,
and
speaking of Lego,
there's so much that he's done.
I feel like he does a lot of like casting with Legos, and I feel like he has like a coffee station that he did with Legos as sort of the blank for casting, or like the cavity for casting.
Right. There's like a pour over drip coffee stand that's
Yeah.
like made with like, you know, the mold's made with Legos, so the concrete it has little Lego bricks in it, I think.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had this rocket chair idea kind of sitting around, never, how am I going to make this, right? And, you know, Ben has a sculpture garden, and one day he's like, hey, you got to come out and make a sculpture. And I'm like, I would love that. Like, that'd be amazing. And then I was like, we got to make the rock chair. Like, that's what we got to do, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a rock man. All he has at this sculpture garden is a bunch of huge boulders that he got shipped in. And he's been kind of arranging them around the hotel and in these really beautiful landscape designed, you know, patios and things. And I was like, he's always chopping up rocks, cutting rocks, moving rocks around. I'm like, you're the man. This is a perfect. this is the perfect collaboration.
Yeah.
So he was so kind to invite me out there, and we, you know, picked out a rock. He had a big pile of rocks that we went and we looked at, and you know, I went out into the sculpture garden area and found a nice suitable location, and we took the excavator and, you know, tried to. Some of these rocks were huge. I kind of just had to drag out the backrest because it was like, I don't know how many tons. Definitely altogether, it's probably 2,000 pounds, which is just 1 ton. But it's still a heavy chair.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just kind of a fun project.
That's great.
I don't know.
I mean, it's Nick Baker.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the touch of the strap. I mean,
someone stole a strap actually, recently.
What?
Yeah. One of my friends was visiting. They were doing I guess yoga sort of session, and I was like, hey, you should go out and look at the rock chair, because I hadn't, you know, I had left it there last year, and we took some nice photos of it, and I hadn't seen it since. And she goes out there and she sits down on the chair and takes a photo and sends it to me, and I'm like, the strap's gone. Where's the strap? She's like, I don't know, it wasn't there. And then I texted Ben. I was like, where's the strap? And Ben was like, I think someone stole it.
Oh my.
I mean, it's like it's, you know, it's a tractor trailer like ratchet strap. Like, it's, you know, these straps are not cheap. They're $50.
Are you guys gonna replace it?
Yeah, Ben says he wants to take the strap out there again and then like epoxy it to the rock. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It is kind of funny because I think the rocks are so heavy that they are stable enough to just stand on their own.
Right, and they'll get more stable over time.
Right, they'll kind of sink into the ground. But the strap does kind of complete the design, I think. You know, it gives it kind of this. Well, it's like a bit of a signature detail, and it also kind of gives it just another, you know, secondary aspect to look at.
Right. No, I think it's like, to me, so from like the strap chair to this, like this feels like the essence of the strap chair. The strap chair's got like, it has much more involvement.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And this is the essence of it.
Yeah.
It's like, take some natural elements and strap them together.
Mm-hmm.
No, I love it. I mean, there's like, I mean, even if it is the fact that this rock can just stand on its own, there is like this little bit of tension of like,
will it fall?
Would it fall?
Yeah. I was actually a little worried when my friend was sitting and I'm like, oh boy, I don't know. It's somewhat stable, but
yeah,
you know, it's still tippy.
The other thing that I love, you know, because I feel like there are people out there who, when I went to look at the comments on your post, and I don't remember if you had done the post with Ben, like as like a combo post.
Yeah, it was collab post.
But you know, there's a lot of people in the comments being
Sure.
like, what the heck? You know, what is
this? Is dumb?
And you know, and to those people I say, you're right. No,
I mean, they are kind of right. It is
no.
stupid.
No, I mean, the thing is like, it's this is the thing in life in general. It's like it's one thing to have the idea, and it's another thing to execute the idea. And when we're talking about executing on this idea, it's like this idea is almost like many years and relationship building in the making. Because
Sure.
had you not gotten to like the level of notoriety on Instagram to make a connection with something like Ben, because Ben was had a very popular
Sure.
Instagram and everything. It's like to then be able to cultivate that relationship and execute on this with somebody who had the means to get the machinery to do it, you know, to go out and actually like physically do it.
Right.
It's like there's much more to the process than actually just like, oh, it's just like two rocks put together. It's like, no, there's a lifetime in front of this
Sure.
that's leading up to this project. Even though it's like I feel like at the end of the day it is tongue in cheek.
Right.
You know, there is a humor to this. Like you're not saying like, this is a serious chair, take me seriously.
This is super comfortable, ergonomic.
Yeah,
you know?
this like there's like a wink.
It actually is properly proportioned,
Oh yeah.
but it's not ergonomic per se, but it does, like, you can lounge in it. You can
Right.
sit there and watch the sunset. I did face it west so you can watch the sunset. I think it's west. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's thought there. But, you know, I think people don't really consider that aspect to the process.
Well, it's kind of like that famous story about Picasso, right? Where Picasso's eating dinner and the waiter comes up and is like, "Are you Picasso? Can you draw me a sketch on the napkin?" And Picasso draws a sketch and he hands it to the waiter and it's like, "Yeah, this will be $10,000." And the waiter's like, "Well, it just took you 30 seconds. Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And Picasso's like, "No, it took me 10 years or 20 years, you know?"
Yeah.
Is your
It's
thing...
stuck.
Okay, I'll use mine. Your drink's stuck.
I'm going to smash this rock into it.
I did think about that a lot specifically because the original image of the rock chair was AI generated, right? I had done a sketch on paper, and then, nowadays we can just take that sketch and make it look real, and it looked hyper real. And it's one of these things where it's like the actual final physical rock chair looks exactly like my AI render, which is incredible because that's what I wanted.
Right.
But it's also this irony of like the AI render had no weight to it, literally.
Right. Right.
Because I didn't make the real thing, and the real thing has weight to it. So
yeah, there's basically to make the AI rendering, anybody can have the idea.
Sure.
But to have the resources and the network to be able to execute on the idea that's the career.
Right.
You know?
I feel like that's becoming almost the most important thing nowadays. I mean, it's kind of like the always has been meme, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the execution has always been the most important, but in a way, because everyone can generate ideas instantaneously and infinitely, it's almost like it doesn't really matter who comes up with that. I don't even know. There might be other people that have made rock chairs before.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there are other people that have made rock chairs in different fashions. Like people have cut rocks into chairs. But it's like it doesn't really matter what it is now. It's like, did you make it or not?
Right.
Which is an interesting kind of mindset shift, because I think, well, this gets into like patents and like, that whole world, but it's like, I don't know. In my mind, the person who comes up with the idea nowadays, there's not as much weight because it's just like anyone could create the realized render of that instantaneously at any moment now. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I spiral down this rabbit hole all the time.
How do you... We're about to, and if we're not already, about to enter into an era of just like endless content,
Sure.
like endless, and it potentially endless slop, basically. And so, how you cut through the noise now versus like how you cut through the noise like 10 years ago, I feel like it's an even bigger mountain than it was before. And so now it's really going to be about like, is this idea worth realizing, and did you realize it, and how did you realize it?
Right. Definitely. I mean, the funny thing is, it's like when we say all these things, it feels profound, but in a weird way, this is how it's always been,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like the only thing that's changed is just the fact that we can generate more options, right?
But it's
In a simplistic way, I
but
guess.
I think the challenge though is going to be that there's going to be more that people are sharing,
Sure.
more content. And so, like, how do you really break through all that to get to the people that you're trying to get to when there's even more competition for their eyes and ears and
It's a good question, James. No, there obviously it's one of these things that I feel like we think about a lot, especially in the age of AI, but it's also one of these things where it's like, I don't know, it's this double, it's this like contradiction of like, you're just gonna have to curate yourself. Like you have to have taste and curation
right.
nowadays, right? You have to tell the story. And when we talk about having taste and curation and telling a story, the irony is like every great designer in the past has always done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're right. Like there's just gonna be more of it, but that's just gonna only highlight who has the best taste and who can tell the best story.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Because I saw somebody sort of, there was a recent post of like what that Sea Dance, the,
oh yes, the new AI video
yeah.
software
And it was like, here's like this 5 minute clip like that Sea Dance made. It's like, it's
of like a
crazy.
Marvel movie that looks
Yeah.
like it literally is a Marvel movie.
And it's like, okay, well, great. So now, like, anybody can make this schlock. And so, actually, hopefully, what we're on the precipice of is like really amazing storytelling
Mhm.
because, like, if anybody can do this, then the difference is going to be in the story and how much like humanity the story has or how much resonance the story has.
I,
It's yeah.
I was gonna jump off that because I do have a friend. His name's Gossip Goblin, and you know he's an internet friend. I've never met him
You
in real
meet
life.
up with him and Gandalf down at the Leaky Cauldron?
Pretty much. Um, who released it? He when AI was starting in like 2022, he was all in, was all about it, really explored it, and he got really good at it, really good at making these videos and telling these AI stories, and they're very fantasy driven.
Mm.
Some of them are very like futuristic space world, you know, 5,000 years in the future, that kind of vibe, right? Or maybe even 50,000 years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And he just released his first short film,
Mm.
and it's called Wood Nuts. And it's all AI generated with all AI audio and everything. And I think there's a small team behind him now, but I obviously watched it because I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool, and it was like impressive. Like I could tell that like there was a lot of thought put into it.
Right.
You know, there was like it was very curatorial, and he's created this entire world. And it's true. Like I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like he was given the tools, and all the ideas that he had were realized through AI. Maybe AI made all the pixels, I guess, but like the story and the video is like still his like ideas.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I think we're like at this weird place where I don't know that you've seen like these programs, and I'm such a boomer when it comes to AI, but like the programs that are using agents like AI agents to
Mhm.
like execute on tasks, and it's like there's this one thought which is like in the future, are these AI agents going to be like are they going to be alerting Amazon as to like when they need to reorder stuff and sending you things because they know like based on your usage that you're going to need this thing like at this time? And like how much of our world is just going to be like fully automated to a point where like everything around us, all of our needs are met by like invisible and visible agents, like AI agents. But like at that point, like our AI agents or AGI or whatever, are they going to do things that are enriching to the human experience, or are they just going to do things that are like supplementing our basic needs? Like,
It's a good point, James.
do you know what I
can't tell.
mean?
I can't predict the future for you. But no, I do understand what you're saying. It's like I think the big question for me is more about the AI's um, uh, tendency to work on its own projects, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing that I've always thought about. It's like every AI tool that exists right now only works if you type in the prompt. Like,
Right.
what would an AI tool look like if you just came into work one day and it's like, hey, Nick, I made this last night. I thought you might like it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we're kind of on the cusp of that with these AI agents, and I guess the one recently is called OpenClaw. Um, but it's still, I don't know, it still feels like you would have to tell it, or you would have to like still train it or something
Right.
to be like, okay, work overnight on 10 chair designs, and then it's gonna take a long time before it like starts coming up with like good chair designs that I think would be useful.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's not gonna happen, but I do think like that's the part where I think that's when you get into the AI is gonna replace designers situation where it's like
Yeah.
when it's doing it itself.
Right. Yeah, but I guess like is that at the point where it also like understands you and your design language and your way of thinking so well that it's going to produce designs that like only you as an individual would produce?
Right.
Um,
I mean, I think it will get there. I did a little project about this a couple years ago where I kind of I told AI about all of my ideas and like my philosophy of design and
yeah.
everything, and I would kind of let it generate concepts, and then I would give it the generations and be like, pick the one that's best. I would let
Right.
it curate as well. But there was a lot of hand holding in that scenario.
Right. Yeah, I wonder about the like, you know, I wonder about the legality of like, if somebody is going in and saying, "Make me an iPhone the way that the Eames would have made an
Hmm.
iPhone," um, and like how much of that, like in the future, are we going to have access to that kind of thing? Like, is that going to be sort of open source, or like what's the term for like copyright stuff that's like expired, like
Public domain.
public domain? It's like, is it going to be public domain for me to say like I want a Raymond Loewy style iPhone, or are these things going to be like if I want a Nick Baker thing, like I'm going to have to pay a royalty to Nick Baker in order to use his your
Philosophy.
design
Yeah.
philosophy to inform my work?
These are great questions, James. I mean, this is what we all grapple with, right? I think
Right.
everyone that's listening to this has thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, the industry that's affected by this the most immediately right now, that off the top of my head, is the movie industry,
Yeah.
because they actually are generating, likenesses of famous actors
Yeah.
for these movies, and so now the actors are like, how do we copyright our face,
Right.
essentially?
Right.
Um,
Which I think is probably coming. Like
yeah,
that's I feel like you can't that's not going to fly.
that's my issue with all of this copyright stuff is like you could put laws and copyright around everything, but and we know this with like patents and stuff. Patents only work if you have a team of lawyers that are on retainer for
Well,
$100,000 a month to like sue everyone that touches
that's
your thing, and it's like anyone that's small is not gonna do that. Maybe Disney or like an actor could do that, but it's like this stuff is just gonna be open for everyone. I don't know.
well, yeah, I think that's the thing is like, yeah, the entertainment industry obviously has lawyers on lock. They have Like that's I feel like probably a great deal of what the entertainment industry does
Sure.
is is uh is legal. And so yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't know if it's going to get to the point where there's just going to be such an such a massive influx of different people generating, yeah, like Tom Cruise in various scenarios. But it's also like about the monetization versus like just generating something to generate something.
Right. Well, this kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's like, who's gonna watch some random internet user that had generated Tom Cruise do a stunt? It's like,
Yeah.
we kind of want to watch, Top Gun, that was thought out, by a bunch of amazing writers, and that has like a great storyline and a hero arc, like all that stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And AI might get there one day, but I don't know.
Ultimately, what I'm hopeful for is what I've been talking about since the very early days of our podcast is like, especially when I was thinking about the future of like 3D printing and various rapid prototyping techniques and things. It's like, how do we bring the industrial designer back to being a local asset rather than a global asset? And I feel like what I think is going to happen in the future is because of the AI's like overload and the like being able to verify what's real and what's not real, and how you suss out those things on an international or national level. It's like, I feel like people are going to start focusing far more locally than they are going to be globally. And I'm actually kind of encouraged by this because I think like in the last 30 years, I feel like we have sort of gotten into this global mindset. And for certain issues, I understand that, like that it makes sense. But I think like if you're interested in anything to do with like real change in your environment, there's very few people who are going to do that on a global scale,
Sure.
but more people could do that on a local scale.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to make the local scale a higher value than the global scale, because I just don't know how we're going to be able to determine what's actually happening outside of our town.
Sure. Well, this is beautiful wisdom from you, James. I 100% agree with you. It reminds me of this one comic that I don't know if I mentioned on the pod before, but it just always sticks in my mind, especially with the AI stuff. But even before that, it's like a New Yorker comment, and it's just a dog on a laptop sitting there, and this other dog walks up and he says something like, how's it going? And the dog on the laptop's like, it's great. Like, on the internet, no one knows you're a dog. And it's just one of these silly things, but it's almost like, on the internet, who knows? Like, this post was AI generated by a dog, by someone's golden retriever.
It's possible, my wife, Alison, she's got an Apple Watch, and occasionally by accident, like my son will be, like they'll be playing around or something, and there'll be a text that comes through, and he accidentally like hits like an auto reply message. And so like I'll get this message from her that's like, what?
Sorry, I can't talk right now.
Excuse me?
Be home by 6 or something.
Or it's like, it's a kind of a direct response to what I said, but I'm like, what? But it's like, but totally off base. But yeah, I mean, it could be my son or it could be a dog. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, I don't know. There's just like, I cycle through utopianism and existential dread like on an hourly basis.
Sure. Well, don't do that too much, James.
When it comes to the future.
I understand.
But I don't know, Nick, what are we looking at time wise? Should we even try to get into this topic?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like there was something else we could talk about too. Well, the rock tree, everyone. That was great, wasn't it?
Hey, let's give it up for the rock. You should name it Dwayne.
Dwayne the Rock. Yeah, there was so many great puns. There was like Flintstone. puns and
Dwayne the Rock Johnstone.
Jo- okay.
Because isn't his last name Johnson?
It is Johnson.
Double pun. Or Bowinkle. You could call it Bowinkle. You know.
How you feeling about this topic, James? Should we get into it or?
Okay, this is like my description for the barricade. This is such a loose thought in my mind, and it might go nowhere, but that's okay because then you won't have to stick around for another hour. But I sparked a bit of a debate on our Discord. This was like, I don't know, a couple months ago when I said that I thought bicycles were ugly. I was sort of intentionally trying to poke the bear a little bit, but there is like this feeling that I have that I don't know if somebody was saying that like bikes are beautiful, but I was just kind of like, bikes are not beautiful. And so it got me thinking about this idea that like,
Why are bikes not beautiful, James?
okay, so my feeling about why a bike is not beautiful, and to me, how I define beauty is something that is awe-striking. Like when I think about a beautiful sunset, a beautiful painting, sometimes a beautiful object.
Right.
It's like it's something that strikes awe.
Right. You just sit there and look at it.
And that's never been me with a bike.
But you weren't around when they first came out.
But I think that's a different thing.
Okay.
I think that's not that's novelty.
Okay.
But like when people are sort of fawning over objects like bikes and things, I'm like, this feels to me like a fetish. This feels to me like there's nothing inherently beautiful about a bike. I think bikes function very beautifully. I think there's like a beautiful way of them and their movement and like the way that they can get you around. I think there's a certain beauty to that. But the object itself is something that is so like I think I said this in a recent episode that like I feel like one of the major functions of a designer is to take the constraints of a project, and when they design something and release it, the user is unaware of the constraints that the designer was under.
Yes.
And with a bike, I feel like you are confronted with nothing but the constraints.
Interesting. I can see that. I understand.
And so like, I obviously have an appreciation for like different processes like welding and people who can weld really well, but like seeing the weld marks on a bike to me is like seeing a kindergartner with a wooden dowel and a glob of Elmer's glue and just like seeing it pour out of the sides.
You're looking at some ugly bikes there, James.
There's definitely better bikes than that, but there's nothing really awe-inspiring about the bike to me in its form, in itself, like without seeing it move
as an object,
as
a sculpture almost.
And so I feel like I feel like I even overuse the word beauty, but I was sort of thinking about like, I think that there are categories that we should sort of like almost universally agree on in terms of how we evaluate different designs. In that I think like there are some designs which are like beautiful. They are like to me, I think like Stefano Giovannoni's Dustbuster for Alessi. It's like this chrome unibody, like beautiful form. It's something where you look at it and it feels like it couldn't have been created by a person. And so like,
wow.
That to me,
it looks like a whale jumping out of the ocean or something.
That to me is beautiful. Like I think there's no other way that you could describe that other than beautiful. Like maybe futuristic or something.
Okay.
But I think that to me is a beautiful object because it feels otherworldly. I like when I look at that, Like I'm awestruck by it.
Yes.
Um,
Can I jump off this
yes,
for a
yes,
second?
yes, yes.
I feel like I'm starting to get where you're going with this, and I understand what you're saying.
I feel like I'm about to get cut off.
uh, I'll let you finish right quick, but there is something to the fact that like I want to get to the form really quick because I feel like that's the core of this issue where it's like bikes are this hyper functional form. Like every design detail that is on a bike is there because of its function. And we had a few other listed out here. We had Big Pen and etc. That was all we had. I'm sure there's other things, but like there are these forms that are kind of there's these products that are hyper functional that are fully realized, like the bicycle or the Big Pen.
Yes.
And every detail on those objects
Realized, refined, resolved.
are resolved based on their function.
Yes.
And you're looking at this Giovannoni's Dustbuster, and it's this beautiful kind of organic, smooth shape.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost feel like we have this tendency to think that these smooth forms are beautiful. Like, is there a form that is maybe not smooth that is also beautiful?
I think like that that keyboard, that icebreaker keyboard, that like was that what it was called?
I don't know.
The one that was like a wedge shape.
Oh yes. I know what you're talking about. It's a brutalist keyboard. I think it's called Icebreaker.
Like that. That is what I would consider a beautiful
By Serene Industries.
But angular form.
Okay.
I think there's like an essential nature to a beautiful object.
And this is why I think the softer forms lend to that, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's probably some primal like female form analogy here. I mean, because I always think about like a beautiful form to me, or like a beautiful car is like the Porsche 911 or something like that, right? Where it's this, or even like the cars from like the 60s.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't. I understand the concept of a bicycle not being beautiful because it's like stripped down from all of its aesthetic elements, or all of its aesthetic elements are only based on function.
But it's also the way that things come together and the way that things are resolved. Like proportionally, it's all there. Like the proportions are there. It's refined, it's resolved, but it's not the way that it comes together. To me, doesn't feel like the ultimate resolution of a bike. I feel like there's still room to explore what is a bike.
Sure.
Whereas like when I get to like this keyboard, I'm like, shit, like that's the essence of a keyboard, you know?
I feel like the exact opposite, where it's like the bike is the essence of the bike, and this keyboard is like an outlier.
No, this feels essential to me, and the same thing with that. I mean, even like Karen Rashid's cone vacuum,
Yes,
like feels essential, but like, and I think beautiful, but no, I think like there's I think there's a couple categories, and it's funny because like these categories, as I'm thinking about them, they have really like mundane terms and terms that we all know, but I think these are like the terms we should use. And so like there was this recent thing that came up. So like I don't know if you know, like there's this company Analog and there's a company called Mod Retro that are both making these like
Game Boys.
Yeah, they both have Game Boys, and now they both have N64s.
Okay.
Like they're using you can plug in your old tech and it will like these new consoles will bring it into like the modern era, so you can play like 4K
Pokemon Red.
Yeah,
at 4K.
Yeah, exactly. So
our good friend Dave Joseph worked on which one? Mod Retro?
Yes, I think he started working on the M64. It's the M64.
Oh, they have the M
Mod
for
Retro.
copyright. Yeah.
But there was this account that I follow, Retro Dodo. They were showing like the analog N64 versus the M64, because the analog just came out with like different colors
Okay.
for theirs, and they have like a frosted green one, and Mod Retro has a green one. And I actually commented on this, and I like these are other categories that I feel like, and this might all sound like duh, James. Of course, these are all categories, but I think these are distinct from an object being beautiful. It's like I think the analog, what they're operating on is their motivation aesthetically is cool, and Mod Retro, their motivating aesthetic is playful. And so it's like, to me, I don't think that cool. I think there are many objects that code as cool that
Okay.
I would not code as beautiful.
Mm.
There are objects that I would code as playful that I would not code as beautiful. That doesn't mean that these categories, like one is less than the
Sure.
other. It just means what is the motivation behind like what we're doing here. And so like, uh,
Well, I
yeah,
think no, this is a good distinction because I think what you're saying essentially is that your kind of definition. Well, first of all, I think I, everyone's going to have a different degree of definitions of all these things, whether what's cool and what's playful, what's beautiful and what's not. But I think what's interesting is that you are being really specific with your definition of beauty, where I think a lot of people are pretty broad with it, right? They think a bike is beautiful just because it is functional. But I think there is a good distinction there of like maybe it's not beautiful, but it is hyper functional and amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feat of engineering. Like there's many other words that you could apply to that, and maybe you're right. Maybe beauty isn't the most descriptive word for a bike.
Yeah, and that's why I was arguing
That's what your
so
debate was
much
about.
with the people on our Discord, because I just felt like that I didn't feel like it's sincere to say that a bike is beautiful. I think that they may be saying it sincerely,
Right.
but I don't think that it's a sincere statement divorced of like its function and where bikes are, and some people may say like you can't divorce a bike from its function. You can't divorce it of its context. And it's like, okay, try as hard as you can to divorce it of all these things and just look at it as an object. Is it beautiful?
Yeah. I mean, as a
If
sculpture.
you saw it on a white wall in a museum, would you stop and stare at it for
It's-
more than 5 minutes?
It's kind of
1 minute?
spindly. There's not a lot of hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like everything's the same weight, and there's a lot of complexity.
It's like, to me, a beautiful object is something that would stop you in a museum, and you would be struck, and you would have to sit down and look at it. And it's like, to really take it all in. And I think the bike may have had that effect when it first came out, but I think that's different from beauty. I think there was like a novelty factor
Right.
to it, in that it was like an expression of the height of technology of that day. But a bike in itself, to the common person, is not going to stop them in their tracks.
Sure.
And I think that this is a controversial opinion, but I think that there are universal standards to beauty. I know that everybody loves the beauty is in the eye of the beholder,
Yeah.
but it's like, come on, there's a huge Venn diagram of what we all consider to be beautiful. Like, everybody's going to stop
Sunset.
and stare at a sunset.
Sure.
Like, no question.
Yeah.
That it to the majority of people, it will stop them in their tracks, and they will be inspired, like they will stand in awe of the natural world.
Right. And I feel like that's why we like those softer forms, because it comes from the natural world, right? Where it's like the bike is such this alien functional. There's no other forms in nature that have perfect tubes or these like perfect spindles coming out, or the gear system. Whereas, like you can look at like I said, like the dolphin has the same form as that dustbuster, right? So I don't know. There's something there, I think, as well, where it's like maybe nature influences. Like there's some primal instinct of like how that influences our perception of beauty.
Yeah.
And these hyper functional objects are essentially the farthest away from nature that we can get.
Right.
in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it was a while ago I was sort of researching like what like has there been any polling or anything where people have rated like the most beautiful
Right. Is
object.
there any boo boo kiki?
And from what I remember, and I don't know the name of this fireplace, but it's like that fireplace that you'll see in like a super contemporary,
Like
like
mid-century home.
mid-century. It's like that one that comes down from the ceiling and then does like the bulge out.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like a
Freestanding.
revolve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it stands off of the ground, and that was like in this particular poll considered the most beautiful object.
Interesting. Huh.
Um,
Well, it does have soft curves.
yeah,
Hmm.
I think there is something there. I don't know because yeah, like what makes a person beautiful? What makes a person like strike awe? Like there's so many factors, and it's not
And cultural factors
it's
too.
not easy
as
to
well.
replicate, to take a person and be like, okay, now I'm going to imbue the things that are beautiful about a person into an object. It's hard, but I think it's a little bit easier when it comes to objects to be like, we know of what the essential knife might look like. We know of what the essential keyboard or whatever it is might be. That's a bit easier to parse out, but yeah, I don't know. So like I think there's distinct categories, and I don't think that any of these categories necessarily like is above another. It's just about prioritization, who you're obviously, and comes down to all those things of like who your market is and everything like that.
Yeah. It's like being more precise with your descriptors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there are like we could make like very precise descriptors of like cool, like things that are cool. Teenage engineering. Like I don't think that anything of theirs is particularly like beautiful. I think
Sure.
it has
Okay.
like great proportions, but what I would say is like it is cool.
Yeah.
It and there's something about it. It's almost like the bike with teenage engineering. It's like it's something that invites me to engage. There's like it's like playful and cool or something like that.
Yeah.
It like invites me to engage with it. But like yeah, there's plenty of things that could be considered cool that I would never not necessarily consider beautiful, playful, and I don't know. There could be more categories than that. That's where I'm at this moment. But that's sort of my overall thinking about what it is when we talk about beauty and like how we should really define beautiful objects.
I love it. I think you made a good case there, James. I mean, I think it's obviously this very abstract concept that we had to try to parse through.
Yeah.
But I think you made me understand what you were envisioning with your, debate around the bike not being cool.
Not being beautiful.
Not being beautiful. Sorry.
It is cool. They are cool.
I look forward to seeing your beautiful bike, James. You gotta show off.
Oh man, I feel like people in the Discord challenged me to find beautiful bikes, and I found some like e-bikes that I liked because I felt like the some of the sections of a bike, like the stem and everything, there's just like it is just this like intersection.
Sure.
And I feel like there's some e-bikes that are nice, but I was dismissed for putting e-bikes in the chat.
Oh, e-bikes don't count.
I feel like bikes
because it gets rid of the gear system. The gear system is the hardest part to make look beautiful because it's so in your context so functional.
Right. So anyway, yeah, man.
No, that's great. No, I think that was a fun little debate. Thought experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know where I land on it. I think I understand what you're saying.
You don't necessarily agree.
No, I probably wouldn't say that a bike is beautiful. I would give another descriptor for it. I think I would agree with your premise, but I do think that hyperfunctional objects are beautiful in their own way. Like they are a feat of engineering.
Yeah.
It is beautiful that humans made that.
Right.
In that sense.
Right.
I think.
But I think like in order to appreciate it, it necessitates a lot of context.
Sure. Yes.
And I don't think a beautiful object necessarily necessitates so much context.
Right. Like a bike devoid of context would not be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying. All right, man. Should we call it?
Let's call it.
All right. Before we go off the rails here. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Peace out.
Later.